this video is going to cover our core belief of consistency. In dog training, we need to be very consistent. Just like when we're raising our kids, we need to be consistent on the rules and our standards. If we kind of waver in our standards and we let certain rules go out the window whenever we feel like it, and then other times we stand by those standards or those rules, it confuses our children. So the same thing is true with dogs. If we stick by the same principle and the same standard when training our dogs are going to perform much better. So it's important that you're consistent with your training. When you say sit, you need to say it like a command. So an example of that would be sit, and the dog sits. Then we praise the dog. Oh, that's a good sit. Now, inconsistency is by saying sit, and then we praise the dog. The next time we tell our dog to sit, we say sit, and then we don't praise the dog when he actually performs a sit. Now, there's two distinct differences when I just said sit. One time it sounded like a command of sit, and then I praised. Okay, that sit command sounded very authoritative. It made it sound like I really knew what I wanted my dog to do. The second sit was like sit, and that causes questions. That sit, is not very confident, not very authoritative. It's more of a waffling, okay, in my attitude. Well, do I really want my dog to sit? And that's what your dog's thinking. It's like, hey, does this guy really want me to sit? Doesn't sound like he wants me to sit. So it's important that when you say the command, especially when you first start training your dog in different areas, whether it's obedience, tracking, protection, scent work, it needs to sound like a command every time. Once it's a habit for the dog and they're performing well, then we can kind of change our tone a little bit. So when we tell our dog to sit, make it sound like a command. When we tell our dog to down, make it sound like a command. And be consistent. Now, consistent isn't just in our tone. When we say sit, okay, you say that every time, right? But consistency also means once our dog performs the action, since we don't train with treats or toys, and even if we did train with treats and toys, once they perform that command, we give them that praise. Sit. Oh, that's a good sit. We praise them up, make them feel good. We reiterate the command that we just told them, right? We told them to sit. Now I'm saying, oh, that's a good sit. Good sit. Okay. As the dog is more confident and competent and really understands what that command means, and they're performing it well, then we don't have to praise so much. So if we were giving our dog a treat or a toy for performing a command, and we asked our dog to sit and they sat, we would give them a treat. Good sit, good sit, good sit. Okay, it becomes a habit. Now every time they hear that command, they sit and they're expecting something. Okay, if you use a treat, they're expecting a treat. We don't use treats again because now our dog starts working for the treat instead of working for our praise and our love and our affection. We can always, no matter where we are, we can always praise our dog. We can't always pull out a treat out of our pocket or our ball. So being consistent will pay huge dividends if you do it right. If you ask your dog to sit, make them sit. Okay, once they do sit, give them praise. If you're healing with your dog, make your dog heel every time. Don't say, well, there's other stuff going on, I'm going to let them kind of linger away and wander and not pay attention. That's inconsistency, and that sets you and your dog up for failure. So be consistent. You want your dog to heel? Have your dog heel, regardless of the situation. But remember, you have to be fair. Remember, look into the entire environment, everything that's in the conditions of the area. Take that in consideration when delivering your corrections and your praise. So consistency also not only means make sure your dog does what you ask them to do, or consistency isn't just, hey, say it this way every time or praise every time, but it also means in your training. Be consistent with your training. You cannot expect your dog to be an awesome dog and listens all the time if you don't train with your dog. If you only train with your dog, let's say today, and then you don't train them again for another 3 or 4 weeks, you can't expect your dog to perform consistently. Why can't our dogs perform consistently? Because we're not performing consistently. Okay, let's be consistent for our dogs, and let's be consistent for ourselves. It's only the right thing to do. That's fair. So be consistent in giving your commands, in giving your rewards, and be consistent in your expectations. Your standards should never slip. Okay? If your standards start slipping and you start letting your dog do whatever, then you can expect your dog to consistently do whatever and not listen to you. So be consistent in everything you do. Be consistent in giving praises. Be consistent in giving corrections. And be consistent in your training, and you'll be successful. Again, if you have any questions for us, please feel free to give us an email at news@realprotectiondog.com. And of course, you can always visit us on the web, which is www.realprotectiondog.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.